Welcome everyone to Be Successful, the place you leave every time more valuable than you came. Here you come to prepare a better future. And as you have already learned, here you always receive maximum value for the time spent with us. I want to thank you for being part of this wonderful community, and I'm glad you came it here. Our goal here is educational. We work every day to put on the table anyone who needs the best ways to invest, the best ways to develop. In other words, our goal here is to change the lives of as many people as possible for the better. Here you will find out what the school does not want to know, the government does not want to know, and the big corporations also need as many workers as possible, and with as few pretensions as possible. Stay with us and I assure you that your life will improve. This will be a great project. I encourage you to invite all your friends to be part of this project, and if you want to help with this work, click the like button and tell us in the comments section what you like most about us. Each of us is the result of our past decisions. And in the future we will be the result of our actions today. So I encourage you to take the following method on important decisions in your life. Remember the rule: 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years. Whatever decision you want to make, think like that. How will this decision affect my life in the next 5 minutes? But in the next 5 months? But in the next 5 years? When you start thinking like that, everything changes. You start to realize that it doesn't matter what clothes you are wearing now, or what car you are driving. Instead, it matters a lot whether you invest or not. It matters a lot whether you educate yourself or not. If you learn new skills. If you develop. Of course, here I mean the long term. And we at Be Success play for a long time. In conclusion, when you have to choose between two activities, one that brings you immediate results, and another that changes your life in the long run, always choose to do what brings you results in the future. Choose not to enjoy the small pleasures you can pay now with the little money you have from work. Invest that money, and in the future you will be able to enjoy much greater pleasures, while the money remains yours and continues to work for you. Be careful not to fall into the trap that most people fall into. It is not easy to adopt this mindset, but once acquired, your life changes forever. Let's say you have $20,000 with which you would like to buy a car. That would give you immediate satisfaction in the first 5 minutes. Instead, in 5 years you may not be very proud of the chosen decision. In 5 years the car will be too old, it will be too cheap, it will be very expensive to maintain, and you are already tired of it. Not to mention that if you sell it after 5 years you will receive a few $1,000s. So applying the rule 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years, this would not be a good decision. You could instead put this money in advance for a real estate loan, and buy a $100,000 apartment. To rent the apartment and pay the installment from the money that comes from the rent. So at the end of the day you are left with the apartment that in 5 years will probably be worth $160,000, with a passive income from renting the apartment, after you have finished paying the installment, income from which you can pay the installment on a new car. And you can do that for the rest of your life, not once. You buy a new car in installments and pay the rent from the apartment. Every 5 years you can sell the car and buy a new one doing the same. Here's how applying the rule of 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 years, you manage to get from $20,000 a new car every 5 years, for the rest of your life, and an apartment instead of a safe car, once. It's all about your ability to postpone your rewards. In the first case, you received the car on the spot, but you lost the other benefits. In the second case, you got your hands on the car only after the apartment is paid. It all depends on what you choose, to receive the reward in 5 minutes, or in 5 years. You can apply the same thing to any decision in your life. For example, if you have a choice between eating a pizza and going to sports. You don't choose pizza. Of course, at the moment, the pleasure is greater in eating a pizza, but the long-term results are terrible. Instead, the results of long-term sport will give you the chance to enjoy the second part of life in a healthy body. Also very important are the people you surround yourself with. In order to change for the better, you often need to leave behind those who are not willing to follow the same path as you. Just because you were born in the same neighborhood doesn't mean you have to be friends for life. Everyone chooses how far they want to go or as far as they can. You don't have to stop evolving or settle for a troubled life just because you want to stay close to a time you played with when you were little. Even if we grow up together, in life we all go in different directions. Don't indulge in the situation you are in. The power of change is only in your hands. Remember that just knowing this rule doesn't help you. As in any other field, independent knowledge is not very valuable. The real value comes from implementing these methods. Don't make the mistake of getting lost in learning new things without using them in practice. Whenever necessary, come back and listen to the video again, so that it is fresh in your memory, and you can always use it. I would like to thank you for staying until the end. Definitely over the years, you will be satisfied that you chose to spend your time on this channel, instead of going for beer with friends. If you find this video valuable, show it to your best friend and challenge him to write his opinion in the comments. Make sure you like it, and don't forget that in the description of the video you always find useful links.